Hey guys, been a few days, Dragonlord back here. Just wanted to give a touch up on a few extra things I promised. So today we're going to quickly look at lights. You notice under markers when we put our player in, you actually have lights as well. Obviously coloured lights, and you can adjust the colour of these. So if we put one in here, and like an entity, if you right click, because it is an entity obviously, you can come in and adjust things like the light range, so the brightness, and you can actually come in and adjust the colour as well. So you could actually pick what colour you want that light to be, apply, and we actually should be throwing a green light. There we go. I know it's got a red icon, but you can play with it and adjust it, so which is a pretty cool function. The other thing I want to touch on was Windzones. Windzones is currently working. Trigger zone, which will be to trigger an event. Sound zone to trigger a sound, and story zone, which I believe is to be triggering videos. So at the moment, if we wanted to, we could place a win event here, which is currently working. So if our character lands in this square here, and we'll put a big brown mark so we know where it is, because you won't actually see this. It'll trigger a win event and put us back to the start of the map. Now, previously I did promise we're going to quickly touch on entities. So if we go into our entity tab over here on the left, and we have oodles of entities provided. Well, actually, you got a few, and I've added a few more. I said later I will cover how to add those for those who want to know, but there's quite a easy method to getting them put in, and as I said, they do work, they do load, so we can get them up and running for you. An entity is quite easy to add. Let's add some rocks here, get some scenery going. So all that you do is double click, it'll load your entity in, and from here you can manipulate how you want that entity to look. So we can rotate it, same as before when we put our player start, which is number 3 or 4. Okay, you can flip it, which is 1 and 2. Okay, so you can move that around. 5 and 6, again, flip and rotate the item. And number 9, I think it is. No, I have to double check that, but you can actually raise it up and down as well. So you can put it halfway in the sand, you can move it. The other really cool thing about entities is they put in a spray function. So if you press I on your keyboard, you'll notice that it changes. If I give it a click now, it'll randomly spray a bunch of rocks. And this works for all entities, so if you're putting in flowers or whatnot, you can spray them through the whole area that you're looking at doing as well. Okay, and you can put that back to a singular mode just by pressing I, and you'll notice that it'll turn back red, so doing singulars again. To raise and lower is actually page up and page down. So if I hold page up or page down, so page down, we're putting the rock in. So if you wanted to give it that effect of being submersed, you can do that. The other keys to be aware of is R will rotate your item, and if you press Shift and hold Shift and press R, obviously you can get a precise rotation. So if you want an item on a precise angle, you can definitely do that. You can obviously raise it up, and we can stack items on top of each other. So, which you can have some pretty cool effects by doing that. So just to touch on one other thing, you also have an ability to put items on top of a table. Where are we? I'll find my table here. This is one of the disadvantages of loading too many items. Okay, so we have a table. So if I place this table here, and I want to put items on that table. So we'll go into weapons, and we want to put a gun on that table. Okay, you'll notice by default it's falling under the table. If I press Enter on the keyboard, it'll put it on top of an entity. So we could then put them on here, and again we could rotate that to a precise angle if you wanted to. So we can have all sorts of guns everywhere here. There we go. So nice and easy editing there. So now if we go into our game, number 1 we should see our light, and number 2 we'll be able to see our table and items that we've put on it, and obviously our rocks. Now I've got debug mode on. For those who were asking those questions earlier, debug puts those squares around your entities. There's our guns on top, so we can pick them up, and our light seems to have failed. We'll look into that. But here's those other entities that we threw in earlier. Oh, and here's our end game point. So if I was walking there, as you just saw, it respawns me back at the start. So end of a map maybe, you might be able to have it load another area. It's entirely up to you. Thanks guys, that's a basic coverage on entities. I'll have to have a look at this light and find out why it's not functional, but there must be a reason. I would say I've probably broken it by changing the color. I do know that if you add if you don't modify it and you leave it as is, the lights do work. I'll give you a quick demo without modifying the product. I'll chuck a couple of lights in here the way they were supposed to be. So let's have another quick look. Hang on, I know what it might be. Forgot to turn my detail back up. There we go. The shaders, there was the problem. So there is your lighting. So you can have some awesome lighting effects pretty much wherever you're going to put these tunnels, caves, in buildings, in your scenery, just about anywhere you can light it up and get it ready. So hopefully we can see them flashing one day and get a few awesome effects out of them. So anyway, thanks guys. Look forward to making another video with yous.